What's up, guys? Scott Kumler here, your real estate coach and team leader. One of the reasons I wanted to make this video today is, as most of you guys know, I moved over to eXp about 6 months ago. May 1st was my exact date that I had started over to eXp and I transferred my license. So it's been about 6 months. And so I wanted to create this video to kind of explain what my experience has been like now that it's been 6 months over with a new brokerage. And so it's very easy, especially when you first move to a new brokerage, to like drink the Kool-Aid, see all the cool things and stuff like that. But a lot of times you really don't know how your experience is going to be until about 3 months to 6 months down the road when the kind of dust settles and you get an idea to start looking at some of the stuff. And so let me tell you, obviously a lot of things, the reasons why I moved over to eXp, whole true. I mean, revenue share is cool, stock options are cool. There's a lot of cool things about eXp that I wasn't necessarily getting with my previous brokerage. But there's one thing that I want to talk about today that surprised me more than anything else. And that was, especially being in a cloud-based brokerage, because, eXp is known as a cloud-based brokerage. There's no brick and mortar locations. But the thing that surprised me more than anything else by moving over to eXp was the community that I was joining. I thought, going from brick and mortar, which is what I was at, to a cloud-based brokerage, I would kind of lose that sense of community. I'd kind of be by myself, my own little island. But it actually couldn't have been further from the truth. I actually feel like I have a better community now than I ever had at a brick and mortar store. There's a lot of reasons for that. There's a lot of reasons why there's a sense of community. A lot of it has to do with the organization that we're in. Obviously, every organization is going to be a little bit different. We actually joined the Wolfpack over at eXp, which is an amazing organization. And so because of that, we have a lot of top producers. We have a lot of people that contribute. We have a lot of collaboration. And so that's kind of actually made the experience extremely amazing. So I actually feel like I have a stronger community now and a lot more people that are helpful that I can go to and a lot more collaboration than I ever had at a broker that actually had, a brick and mortar, right? And so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you because I actually want to show you some of the cool things that we've had as far as a community standpoint is concerned. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys, kind of show you some of the stuff. So I actually created some pictures here so you guys have a pretty good idea of what that looks like. And so, for example, we just recently got back from eXpCon. Amazing experience. I highly recommend, especially if you're with eXp, highly recommend going to eXpCon. But the relationships I met there were amazing. I've seen a lot of these, agents on Zoom consistently. So when I met them in person, we kind of felt like it was family. Most people had came up to me like we've known each other for 4 or 5 years. And so it was extremely cool experience. As a leader, if you're a leader, which means you have 10 frontline agents, we actually had a leaders only yacht party, which was super exciting. You can kind of see here, we're in the picture here as far as the yacht's concerned. Super exciting, super amazing, a great experience. We're out in the ocean for about 3 hours. It's about an hour drive out there on the boat and then an hour drive back. This yacht party grows every single year. Last year we had 2 yachts. This year we actually had 4 yachts because the leadership has grown so much within the Wolfpack. So a super amazing, super cool experience. Then right underneath here, we also had the rooftop party. So this is open to every single Wolfpack member that joined eXpCon. Again, it's grown so much. Last year they had 150 agents that joined the Wolfpack, or they came to the Wolfpack party at eXpCon. This year there are 250 agents that RSVP'd for the rooftop event. And so again, you can kind of see here, amazing group of people. We had a rooftop. I got to mingle. I got to socialize, some collaboration. I met a lot of people that are going to be hopping on my podcast and some of these kind of in the future. And everyone is super friendly too. There's not a whole lot of holding in and a lot of like introvertness. I'm an introvert myself, so it's nice when people kind of come up to me. But there was a lot of community kind of within there. A lot of amazing people that we're able to talk to, socialize with, and so on and so forth. Then my wife, obviously my wife's a female, and so they also had a women's only brunch, which is super exciting. This is a picture of my wife's table. You can kind of see her back there at the end. But my wife, had an amazing time experiencing at the women's only Wolfpack brunch. They do also have a women's only Wolfpack call every Wednesday based on production as well too. This is only one table. They actually had so many females that showed up to this event. They had to get 4 tables all this exact same size. So it was a huge turnout for the women's only Wolfpack brunch. Super amazing, super cool experience. I know my wife Cinnamon came back and she was super pumped. She made a lot of great connections as well too. Had a lot of great conversations and was super excited about the future at eXp based off of that. Then we talk about some of the collaboration happens on Zoom, and so typically my previous brokerage, they had their own brick and mortar locations. I very rarely ever went to trainings, coaching, stuff like that because they're all in person. For me, it was an hour and a half drive. So because eXp is a cloud-based brokerage, it makes things more convenient for people to hop on to these Zoom meetings and to contribute. And so because of that, we offer a lot more training than typically your brick and mortar location may offer. So in this particular one right here, every single Tuesday, we have a production mastermind. And so production mastermind focuses every single Tuesday. This one actually had 177 agents that hopped on this mastermind. And then, at the beginning of the mastermind, they always get to share their wins. And there's usually about 10 to 15 agents that plug in there and share their wins, talk about what's going on. And it's super motivating and super inspiring to see so many agents out there crushing it as well, too. So you got this mastermind. That happens every single Tuesday. Again, a lot of people that I've seen this event, I was able to see at eXpCon, and we're able to connect in person as well too. Then the other thing is, especially if you're a leader, every single Thursday there's a team leader mastermind as well too. I was on a team leader mastermind today. I'm actually recording this on Thursday, October 30th. I was on this team leader mastermind this morning, and I picked up so many amazing tips from a growth standpoint, from an agent attraction standpoint, from a production standpoint. And in order to be a leader, again, you have to have 10 frontline agents in order to get access to this meeting. But it was super inspiring. So you also, especially if you're a team leader, but it's great because then you have an ability to mastermind with other team leaders. That's one thing felt like I was missing at my previous brokerage is I didn't have other team leaders to mastermind with and to talk to. And so this actually changed ever since I moved to eXp. Is now every single Thursday at 9 a.m. Phoenix time, I get a chance to mastermind with other team leaders throughout the country, which is super amazing. And they all collaborate and they all share their wins, what they're doing, their experiences, and it's super great. Now, I'll only talk about 2 of the masterminds as well too, but typically there's about 2 to 3 masterminds every single day that you can plug into depending on what your goals are. Obviously, you're not a team leader, this wouldn't be for you, but on Thursdays, they also have a Social Agent Academy mastermind, so anyone that wants to focus on social media. On Wednesdays, my wife, for example, does a women's only Wolfpack mastermind every single Wednesday. That's also production focused. So again, we have the Tuesday one that's open to everyone in the Wolfpack, but on Wednesdays, they have a women's only Wolfpack mastermind as well too. And then if anyone wants to focus on let's say they want to focus on revenue share and growth generational wealth, they also have a Monday 8 a.m. Wolfpack Agent Attraction Mastermind. And then my mentor Joshua Smith has a Wednesday mastermind as well too for anyone that wants to focus on agent attraction. So there's basically 2 to 3 different masterminds you can plug into every day. These are just a couple of the ones I wanted to share. Again, I don't have a picture of the women's one because I'm not in the women's one. My wife goes to it every single Wednesday though. Again, it's based off production and it's super inspiring. She's every time she goes on it, she loves it. She feels like there's a great collective of women that are there to support each other and super exciting. So if you do ever want to see what a partnership with us over at the Wolfpack looks like and a partnership with me look like, don't hesitate to text my cell phone number at 623-387-2688. Or you can go ahead and schedule a Zoom meeting for a no pressure discovery Zoom meeting just to kind of see what that may look like. I'll go ahead and post my Calendly link below to go ahead and get that scheduled. Also too, if you want to be friends on Facebook, Instagram, don't be afraid to just kind of follow our journey. Don't be afraid to friend request me on Facebook. You can look me up, Scott Kumler. I'm the only one probably there. Or you can go ahead and follow me on Instagram on Scott Kumler AZ Realtor. I don't follow you back, so I have no problem staying connected that way. And then also too, you can also direct message me on either Facebook or Instagram if you do ever have any questions or if I could ever be of service. So hope you guys all have an amazing day. Bye.